How's the community? Flitzman here. And did you notice the new camera quality? Now it's not beaming from the heavens from the light on my ceiling anymore. I have a phone that has a flashlight on it, and I'm using a new webcam. And also the sound quality is better because I got a pop filter and acoustic foam around my microphone. So now it's nice and crispy. And, I don't really have a video idea. I also got a tripod, which is pretty cool. I can just talk about what I got for Christmas since I made a video about what I got. But what the heck? Do not make this video. Nobody will want to watch it. Well, then what do I make a video about? Make a video about the other big thing that happened Christmas this year. Soul, Pixar's latest original film. Don't, I'm dragging you into the afterlife. Bye! Okay, thank you. I don't know what that was about. Just to show off that I'm gonna use my green screen more often. Anyways, I want to talk about Soul because it does something clever in that you won't know what the true message of it is until you watch the movie because you think you know, but you don't. See, the advertising makes it look like the message is that you should pursue your true passion in life, and everybody has one thing that they were made for. You watch the actual movie, though, and the lesson seems to be, don't waste your life on one passion when there's several other passions you can pursue. And I'm just a big fan of the trope of when a child asks a simple question, or somebody asks a simple question, but a person that thinks that they're smarter than the person who asked the question has trouble answering it, because while it seems simple, it's very complicated. And I think Soul has a lot of interesting ideas about how the afterlife works. Now, if the Pixar theory is to be believed, and in all honesty, I still hope that people are holding out for it, then I think we can come to the simple conclusion that those who celebrate Day of the Dead go to the land of the dead, while those who don't go to the great beyond. I also really like how they explain what it's like to be in the zone, which is literally a place called the zone, which is my favorite thing. And something else that this film succeeds at is introducing interesting ideas that you think are just interesting ideas, but are then revealed to be detrimental to the plot. Let me explain that in the best way I can. Remember that film, Ready Player One? Remember the ideas that it introduced? A VR theater that allows you to go into the world of the movie that you're watching? An online world where people can come in from all over the world and it's like a second planet to them? Now let me ask you another question about Ready Player One. Do you remember the story? No, you don't! Ready Player One has this problem that the ideas of the movie are so fantastical and intriguing, but the story itself is kind of deviated from those ideas, and people are more likely to pay attention to the ideas. Yes, they have to go through some of the ideas that they introduce in order to progress the plot, but mostly you're paying attention to the world and not the people in it. Soul, on the other hand, has interesting ideas that you might think are just one-off things of what they think it's like in that world, what the zone is like, what burnout is like, which they have a really good metaphor, but then they blow your mind by coming back to it and making it extremely important to the story. You think that the zone is just a place where they can explain what it's like to be in the zone and make a Knicks joke, which you're a Pixar movie about jazz and ghosts. Who in your demographic do you think is gonna get that? But then, the final act needs that idea to progress the story. And can I just say, going back to the burnout metaphor, it is excellent. Being in the zone is treated as an amazing feeling, but if you're in it for too long, then it feels like you're obligated to do it. So you detach from your body, and become this burnout demon, which I think is a really good metaphor and I appreciate it. The movie is very smart in how it portrays everything. And now to the actual story, which, spoilers. Now, this jazz teacher at a school, Joe Gardner, wants to stop being a jazz teacher and start being a jazz musician because he thinks it's his one purpose in life, the thing that he was born to do. And once he finally gets the gig, well, then he falls down a manhole and dies. He enters the afterlife on his way to the great beyond, but through his struggles somehow manages to go to the place where souls are created and get their personalities, and meets this one stubborn soul named 22, who's voiced by Tina Fey. And I'm just gonna point out, there are two main characters in this film, and one of them is voiced by Tina Fey. And the film is very much compared to Inside Out, which has two main characters in that film, one of which is voiced by Amy Poehler. Kind of an interesting fact. They were friends on SNL. They're in kind of the same movie. And the same universe, if you believe the Pixar theory. We still believe the Pixar theory. And the whole movie, they keep on bringing up this idea that jazz is my one true passion. We have to find your true passion, 22, but we also need to make it so I'm in my body and not a cat's body, which I bet you weren't expecting. I certainly wasn't. But I'm glad that they kept that a secret, because I was expecting Inside Out with ghosts, not Freaky Friday with cats. But then, at the end of the film, when they come back into the afterlife because they got caught and yada yada, Joe asks how 22 got the last spot on her personality circle filled in, and what her spark was. And the entire time, we're led to believe that a spark is their true passion. But the Jerry that he's talking to laughs it off like, oh, you humans and your one true purpose, bull. But while we're confused, Joe just goes back to Earth and performs the gig that he was trying to perform this whole movie, and feels very unfulfilled, not going into the zone once. And, okay, there's a part in the movie where Joe explains how he's feeling to the lady who gave him the gig, and I know a lot of people aren't gonna like it because they'll think it's drawn out and a confusing metaphor, but with a mom that kinda tells similar stories to explain stuff, the story really connects with me. And I don't think any description of what the movie's true lesson is gonna beat the fish metaphor.
I heard this story about a fish. He swims up to this older fish and says, I'm trying to find this thing they call the ocean. The ocean, says the older fish. That's what you're in right now. This, says the young fish, this is water. What I want is the ocean.
And I never thought in my wildest dreams that in any point in my life would I say nothing's gonna beat the fish metaphor. And then he empties his pockets to play piano to try to get the spark back, but then he realizes he's been living life wrong. And maybe you have too. That's gonna panic some people. He's been pursuing piano and nothing else for the better part of his life. And also death then life again. But he never thought that maybe life isn't just about one passion, it's about living life. He sees every object that 22 collected in his body scrawled out on the back of the piano, and one at a time realizes that all of them together make life, and the life is what gave 22 the spark. The bread that she tipped a Subway performer with, the crust of the pizza that she ate, the blossom that flew off of a tree, and all of it culminating, telling Joe what life truly is. And with that, with knowing that he's been living life wrong, with knowing that he's supposed to be living in the moment, knowing that the passion is life, life isn't the passion. See, that's better than the fish metaphor. He finally goes back into the zone, and he meets the hippie pirate, and I love that hippie pirate saved the day in this film. He finds 22, who has become a burnout demon, and I like the understandable trouble that they have trying to bring 22 back, even though she doesn't have her own body, so she's not experiencing burnout. There's no body that she's detached from, and not having any other solutions, Joe just gets eaten by the burnout demon and tries to fight his way through all of the thoughts of the mentors that have talked about how horrible 22 is, and the whole time you're feeling bad for 22 because on one hand you don't want these horrible things that people are saying about her to be said about her, but at the same time you can't prove them wrong. She has been annoying for a good part of the film. And then, inevitably, I kind of predicted this, Joe shows up among all of the loud voices in 22's head. But the real Joe, well, the ghost Joe talking to the 22 who has the bad Joe in her head, but the bad Joe is in the ghost world, but is the real Joe, but isn't, but I don't know, manages to calm her down and give her her patch back so that she, as a soul, can finally go to Earth. And it's just gonna be my headcanon that she's Riley, and there's not a lot that supports this. There's no point where she references hating broccoli, but headcanon is fun. What can I say? And besides, I think the ending was intentionally ambiguous, along with the ending of Joe getting a second chance at life, taking it, and saying, I don't know what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life, but I know I'm gonna live every second of it, which is both inspiring and cliche, honestly. Actually, I think the film would have been deeper and more enjoyable if Joe didn't take the second chance at life and went into the great beyond. I know that that'd be darker, but I'd kind of respect Pixar more for it, having the courage to kill off the protagonist of a film. But still, it's a great ending for what it is, and honestly, the differences in qualities of my ending idea and the original ending are probably not what I think they are, because I've been wrong about a lot of stuff, and the ending really doesn't take away from the rest of the film, which is very, very enjoyable. And those are my thoughts. Can I please be set free? Well, you did do as I asked. Wouldn't it be, unfair of you to say that the ending would have been better if Joe Gardner had died, but then this video didn't end in your death? You know what? No. I wasn't killed before the events of this, so I don't have any death to return to. So you can go, I'm staying here because I just got so much increase in quality that it is amazing, and I hope that people will watch. Dang it, a loophole. Well, whatever. I have to go watch The Mandalorian. You know, they gave Baby Yoda a name. Cool. Well, bye. Please leave and never come back. That doesn't go for you. Please stay. And blast that like button down below and subscribe so you don't miss another video. When you click subscribe, click the bell to the side. That way you can be notified. And until next time, it's time for me to fly off into the sky. See ya!